All right. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's nice to see your happy faces. We are going to open the town commission meeting for August 23rd at 7 o'clock. Please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance of the United States of America and to the stand a nation visible for liberty and justice for all. Sal?
Father God, thank you for entrusting us with your town. We ask you that you give us your wisdom and discernment and that we make decisions that are best for our citizens. And we honor you in all we say this evening. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Sal. Okie dokie. Elise?
Commissioner McMullen.
Present.
Chair Ramos.
Present.
Vice Mayor Satterfield.
Present.
Mayor Stark.
Here.
And Commissioner Polland is not here, but we have a quorum.
Okay, awesome. We have a number of presentations tonight. We're going to start with the police department. Steve, I believe you're up first.
Yes. Come on up, Jason.
Don't be shy.
So I am very pleased to welcome our new code enforcement officer, Jason Donato. Jason comes to us from the city of Orlando, where he worked as a code enforcement officer for 9 years. He brings a significant amount of experience, and I'm certain he will be an asset to the town. This is beginning his 3rd week. And besides his code enforcement responsibilities, he will also be assisting Ms. Quinn, Stacy Quinn, with administrative duties at the police department. And he will be spending his first weeks in training, getting acquainted with the town, our processes, procedures, and of course, our code of ordinance. We're happy to have Jason on.
Yes, we are.
You're welcome, Jason.
Do we want a picture with the commission?
Sure, absolutely.
Jason, you gotta stay away from these houses and circle the park. You'll get it later.
It's a slow process.
Going on, Commissioner.
Thanks up over anywhere you want.
Welcome. Thank you. 22 plus.
22 plus. 2,
3.
I'm so tempted.
Perfect.
Welcome, Jason. Thank you very much.
Now, if Mike would just behave himself, everything.
We were just right there with the
Okay, Angela.
Madam Mayor and Commission, I would like to introduce our new full-time officer, Samaria Lake. She was hired with the Oakland Police Department on July 26th of this year as a full-time officer. Officer Lake comes to us with 10 years of prior law enforcement experience with the Virgin Islands, where she worked patrol and has approximately 2 years as a homicide detective. Officer Lake has completed her 0 phase of training, which is usually 6 to 8 weeks, and she finished it in 2 weeks, which she was very happy to get out of the office, and is now in FTO on the road with Corporal Fisher. Her experience, we're going to be able to probably expedite her. She has shown the ability that we didn't think she would have coming from another agency, another state. And she's doing great. We are very happy to have her. She's blended in very well, and she's become part of the family very quick. And everybody's happy to have her. So we are very fortunate to have Samaria. So thank you.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Congratulations.
Knock on wood, we haven't had any homicide in trial. Middle. Good.
Yes, we're good.
Stop hiding. Ready? 3. Vice Mayor.
Go that way just a little bit, Vice Mayor. He's trying to. Thank you.
Must be wanted.
Well.
Check up on that.
Thank you.
Works for you. It's magic. No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Make you stay and suffer any longer.
Bye, everybody. Okay,
Lucky I didn't see it right.
have a good evening.
All right, guys.
Night. Okay, we are really pleased to have the West Orange Health Organization here with us. Part of the West Orange History Center, or the Town of Oakland History Center. I can never say that long name. But anyway, we're very happy to have you here. I know you want to do a healthy selfie with us.
Yes.
And I have a proclamation I'll read in a moment. Okay, do you have anything you want to say?
Sure. I can give a
Your elevator speech?
Yeah. So Healthy Selfie Month is all September long, and it is all about showing our community what makes them healthy, what they enjoy doing that makes them healthy. And so that could be anything from eating well, getting active, enjoying life, well-being. And so there's a couple aspects to Healthy Selfie. The first one is our 5K. So we have a Healthy Selfie 5K Your Way that has both a virtual and in-person option. So folks can complete a 5K however they like on their own time. I always say, you know, I am not a runner. I don't like running, but I can complete our 5Ks by kayaking, walking, hiking, swimming, rollerblading, skateboarding, any way that folks like to get active. We encourage that. We're here to cheer you on. And there's also an in-person option on September 10th at 7:30 a.m. nice and early before the heat at Dr. Phillips Community Park. So we're over at Dr. Phillips. And that is a community walk, run, bike ride. You can bring your pups, bring the strollers, all ages. It's not competitive, totally relaxed community event. Everyone's welcome to come out, and both in-person and virtual participants will get a race t-shirt and a belt across the finish line. And we also have our Healthy Selfie photo contest. And this is where we encourage people to take a healthy selfie just like we're about to, and show how they like to get healthy. Just like I said, whether it could be eating healthy, cooking your favorite meal, getting active, practicing yoga, meditation. And we are very excited that two of our grand prize winners will win a one-year family membership to the YMCA of Central Florida. So that is an awesome prize. And we thank the YMCA for sponsoring that prize. And we also want to thank Orlando Health for sponsoring our beautiful blue shirts that we have. This year is blue. Commissioner, you received a shirt. You don't have to put it on for the picture. You just hold it up. And the community can send in their own healthy selfies for the chance to win those grand prizes. And so do that by September 15th. Start getting in the healthy selfie mood. It's almost September. So I'd like to invite everybody to take a healthy selfie with us. Again, you don't have to put on the shirts if you don't want to, but make sure you wear them in September. Now the frame over here.
All right, I'm going to read the proclamation and we'll take a picture.
Okay, sorry.
The Town of Oakland West Orange Healthy Selfie Day, whereas Healthy West Orange inspires healthy behaviors and provides resources to help residents make lifestyle choices. And whereas Healthy West Orange champions healthy programs that deliver health and wellness activities. And whereas Healthy West Orange unites health-minded organizations for whom a healthy community provides meaningful benefits. And whereas Healthy West Orange advocates for healthy community decisions and encourages local leaders to keep their communities' health and wellness a top priority. And whereas Healthy West Orange declares the third Friday in September as the annual West Orange Healthy Selfie Day. Now, therefore, it is my great pleasure and privilege as the town mayor of the Town of Oakland to declare Friday, September 16th as West Orange Healthy Selfie Day. So we could have this in this healthy selfie too. Come on, kids.
They're in the best spot. I'm going to grab one in the front.
Behind the frame.
That's right.
Well, all right.
This will all be fun.
Good answer.
Would you mind?
Now.
Thank you.
Get friendly. Oh, yeah, well, as,
Good.
Okay, good.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
We're getting quite the collection of these.
You know what, our supporters, they have all the colors, they have all the medals.
Oh, yeah.
So follow up at Healthy West Orange. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, we have two more proclamations that we'll read. The next one is West Orange Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. Whereas throughout Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate the history and contributions that Hispanic and Latinx Americans have made to the state of Florida. And whereas Florida has the third largest population of Hispanic people in the nation, with more than 5 million diverse residents within the Sunshine State. And whereas we honor the rich and vibrant traditions of Hispanic and Latinx Americans whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, the Central and South America. And whereas Hispanic Americans have played an important role in the history of Florida from the early days of the pioneer to our current legacy of leaders in international trade, technology, education, and aerospace. And whereas Hispanic Floridians have been an integral part of our communities, whose contributions, passion, and skills as agricultural producers, farm workers, and growers have long shaped Florida's agricultural success. Whereas from September 15th to October 15th, we pay tribute to the dedication and service of Hispanic and Latinx Floridians for their efforts to improve the state of Florida and pave the way for future generations of leaders. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Stark, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Oakland, and on behalf of the entire town commission, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2022 in the town of Oakland, Hispanic Heritage. The next one is National Preparedness Month. Whereas the month of September is recognized as National Preparedness Month and creates an opportunity for every resident of the town of Oakland to prepare their homes, businesses, and communities for emergencies and natural disasters. And whereas the 2022 National Preparedness Month theme is a lasting legacy, the life you've built is worth protecting. Prepare for disasters to create a lasting legacy for you and your family. Whereas during an emergency, every second counts, and emergency preparedness programs educate individuals and families on how to prepare before, during, and after a disaster. Whereas these programs address threats of severe weather, terrorism, and other potentially life-threatening circumstances that make our communities better prepared, resilient, and safer. Whereas emergency preparedness is the responsibility of every resident, and all the town of Oakland residents are urged to make preparations a priority and work together to ensure that individuals, families, and communities are prepared for disasters and emergencies of any type. And whereas town of Oakland residents are encouraged to participate in preparedness activities and become more prepared by making a plan, building a kit, and staying informed. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Stark, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Oakland, Florida, and on behalf of the entire town commission, do hereby proclaim September 2022 as the Town of Oakland National Preparedness. Thank you, thank you. So we're going to move on to Oakland Avenue Charter School Year in Review.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
Why don't you?
Awesome. Great. I'm here to just share some highlights from the 21-22 school year so that you have an idea of some of the many things that go on over at the school. So it is my hope that you'll get a sense of what we try to accomplish each and every day through our kiddos. To start off the presentation, I just wanted to share what our enrollment was last year, and we stayed pretty consistent with our enrollment in the 2 FTE times. FTE stands for full-time equivalent. We remained at 531 both times, and our VPK student population remained at 60. Our number we tend to sit at is around 528 to 532, I would say. If we push it, we could potentially get to 535. It requires a little bit of finessing in regards to class size. But this is the number that we try to sit at pretty regularly. So we held steady. If we lose someone, we go to our wait list, try to fill that. Throughout the school year, we set up a number of school initiatives, and these are driven by our needs based on student data and or just information in regards to the things that we hope to accomplish as a school in general. So our school initiatives are named in our school improvement plan, which by the way, as a charter school, we are not mandated to do a school improvement plan unless we have a C or D for a grade, but we do it every year so that we have a map to which we are trying to accomplish our goals. So our school initiatives were basically continue to focus on learning gaps and learning loss that were basically encountered because of distance learning and COVID impacts. And so also mental health focus. Thinking Maps, which is a curriculum that is basically try to have students use graphic organizers to organize their thoughts and become a go-to solution to thinking through all that needs to be considered in their educational process. Social studies alignment with the state regulations that have been put out there. So each year we've seen an increase in the various historical topics that need to be shared, both because it's the right thing to do and because of state statute. We have education for Holocaust, Ocoee Massacre, Patriots Day. Those are some of the few that we focus on throughout the year. Our NEST, which is entitled NEST because we are the Eagles, is our community building process. So our process for the community building is that we have students that were placed in different cohorts, essentially to bring them together as a community, but they're named after various character traits. So we have the perseverance, we have generosity, we have trustworthiness, we have integrity. And so those nests work together to earn positive behavior points and compete against each other for various activities throughout the year. In the past, and we intend to return this year to community outreach through those particular cohorts. And so we will provide some more information in relation to that, but our community outreach was halted due to COVID impacts. We have added an ESE teacher, which stands for Exceptional Student Education Teacher, to support every grade level, and that's been a great success. As you may recall, I did a presentation that we were named the Orton Gillingham Model School. I'm going to share a little bit more about that, but I have a handout that we have created, pass it down, that we have created to share with families and so forth as a marker of pride as well. So Orton Gillingham through K through 2, and we're continuing that through the upper grades this year. We had to move to the ELA best standards. That was the expectation for last year, so we had standards changed. And then we also added a response to texts for the upper grades for our Thinking Maps initiatives. Locking up on me here.
There you go.
Okay, our enrichment offering, which is also known as our specials. We continue to offer a STEM lab course, music, art, PE. We have our health and character education classes that we call Living Well. Last year, we had a special class, which was on a rotational basis that the students participated in virtual field trips. We continue to offer after school clubs, and we offer a full day gifted pull-out program for our identified gifted students. Like my remote, I have to be looking like boom, right to it. There you go. Teacher and staff person of the year each year through the voting of our staff through nominations, and then further voting from those nominations, we name a teacher of the year and a staff person of the year. Last year, our teacher of the year was Carol Kelly. She's one of our kindergarten teachers. And our staff person of the year is Carlos Torres, and he can be this person. Him and Janice rotate between this every other year. So this year, I'll probably see Janice on there. So they are well-liked and well-appreciated humans on our campus. Our PTO continues to be an outstanding support to us, and I just want to highlight some of the things that they do for us. So community events, they hold spirit nights around the community, in which they the restaurants give a portion of the proceeds back to the school, in which they had 5 of those spirit nights last year, which I think is amazing, considering that we still were having some of the impacts of COVID, and that brought in $1,200 back to the school from those restaurant nights. They provided complimentary breakfast through what they call Breakfast Club. Here at 4 times a year, which was aligned with progress reports. They spend an enormous amount of money on staff appreciation through meals, teacher gifts, Teacher Appreciation Week, and they also provide reimbursements for classroom supplies. They give the new teachers to our campus $100 that they can be reimbursed for supplies when they first join our staff, and $50 every year after. And it really does help with teachers and getting the little things that they want or need in the classroom. Continuing on with the tremendous support that the PTO has provided to us, we had multiple fundraisers. So our fundraiser the first one was the Mega Blast, which is basically the blow up events. The kids go outside and they literally jump their hearts out and bounce around and climb crazy obstacle courses. I climbed one myself and got stuck in there. I had to have a 2nd grader help me out of it myself. So they are a lot of fun. Basically, the parents sponsor their children in this fun activity. And that event netted $22,900 back to the school. The Booster-thon Fun Run, which is we've been doing ever since I've been there. This is my 10th school year. In case you lost count, sometimes I do. But the Booster-thon was going on before, I think a couple of years before me, and they have averaged about this much net, and it's $30,840, which was the net for that. And then we had the 2nd annual gala, which was, the first one was before COVID, and then we had to put a halt to that, and then that also netted $11,915. So you're talking about $60,000 that have come back to the school this last school year. And so that financial assistance that's come back to the school has allowed us the purchase of the digital marquee, which if you've driven past there, you will see after many, many months, it's finally in operation. And so I'm just awaiting the training to be able to start putting some snazzy messages out there. Assisted in the installation of the VPK playground. We needed to upgrade that. In fact, the VPK playground that we had for a number of years was actually donated from another, the Innovation Montessori. So it was a wooden one, and it was time. And so they assisted in this because we had some grant funding and we needed some additional funding, and PTO kicked in. They donated back funding, fundraising money to purchase interactive display boards. And what that is that sometimes the term is smart board. It replaces the dry erase board, it replaces the chalkboard. It's the computerized version of those ways to interact with the classroom. And also they donated money for us to purchase a cover for the back playground. We are still working on that quoting process in this year, but that was with the money it's been earmarked to assist with. So a few months ago, Amanda and Jonathan came to the commission and did an outstanding technology presentation for you. I didn't want to repeat all the things that they said. I just wanted to highlight some of those that we plan to continue to provide you with updates on what's going on with our technology integration, but we have been continuing to work to one-to-one. Remember, this is a year in review, but I can tell you we are at that point this year. So that we are at one-to-one. The whole entire school is one device for one child. We either have an iPad for the younger grades or a laptop for the older grades. So that's very exciting. We continue to evaluate the technology that we're used year to year. As an example, for many years, we've used iReady as a method to track students' data and also be a blended learning program. But due to the changes in the state testing and the rollout of such, we have decided to abandon that this year so we don't overtest these children. The interactive boards, which I noted last year in the year in review, was in most classes, and the goal was for it to be in all, and I can say that we are also at that point as well. Hardware is our laptops and iPads that are in use in the classrooms, as well as for staff. And another support that comes from the PTO, but is a different activity outside of just traditional fundraising, is the Scholastic Book Fair. That is a combination effort. It allows us to support the idea of getting books in the hands of children, and families love it. The amount of books that they walk out of there buying from the Scholastic and little tchotchkes and so forth that they sell at the book fair is amazing. So we have this each year. Our sales were almost $15,000, included tax. And so that about $7,000 comes back to the school for us to purchase more books with. And so this is just a sampling. This picture is just a sampling of some of the books that we were able to purchase for the library and for the classrooms. But $7,000 also allowed us to use Scholastic dollars. We bought some rugs for the classrooms and some book bins for our paperback books and so forth. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to engage the community, but also have some more books at the school. We continue to visit the Nature Preserve weekly. One class per week goes starting around September. We have a class per week. We start out with we start with the older grades. We start with the 5th grade and go backwards to the kindergarten. VPK does not go out at this particular time. But during that time, the Nature Preserve works works with our grade level teachers to make sure that they are aligning the lessons as best as they can with the standards to make it lively and engaging. And so just some of those lessons, are invertebrates, watershed, geologic and prehistoric and Native American history, the bird walk. We talk about freshwater habitats, general exploration, and just fact versus fiction, which are all important things for a student to learn. And just the idea of infusing environmental education in our school is something that's special for OACS. Last year, we actually, it was the year before, but this year we really honed in on making this a wonderful legacy, I think, for us to continue on. We named it the Walk to Remember. It was a reflection of the legacy of Black Americans. And so we started it. It was originally a launch off of just celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. birthday and the celebration and honoring those. And we have expanded that to basically create this all-inclusive learning that is a study of famous Black Americans. We look to create projects that have historical context, focusing on the individual's impact on our world or our community. And each grade level is provided with a specific area of focus. And the main reason that we do that is that, every grade level studies Martin Luther King Jr. We have those pillars that have had a huge impact on our history, but we wanted to have each different grade level focus on a different area. And so you can look at the list, but 5th grade focused on politicians and activists, 4th grade scientists, inventors, 3rd grade were lawyers and judges, 2nd grade authors and artists, 1st grade athletes, and the kindergarten was musicians. So in this event, we took 5 classrooms. Select classrooms were basically reshaped and basically emerged as this wonderful celebratory place for these projects to be on display. Each grade level had a schedule in which the students would come in so that they can present their projects or what was happening in regards to those people that they were focusing on, and other grade levels came to visit. So we also then had an evening in which that we invited parents out to visit the showcase as well. It was well received and a wonderful legacy, and it's definitely something that we're going to continue doing.
Nice, very nice.
Literacy Week is a week in January that is basically designed, it's a state initiative that is designed to create awareness and about the importance of reading and inspire kids to, make reading a part of their everyday life. And so it becomes a fun week. And so during that week, it's really ends up being a lot of, sometimes the teacher thinks it's a little too much. It's a little bit of horseplay, but a lot of excitement. We have mystery book day, we decorate the doors, we dress up day, for vocabulary day, we have pajama day, there's so many days, character day. It's, we have special author visits. It's a lot of fun, and, we promote the idea of different, using books and words, and just literacy in general. So we continue to do that. I can tell you that every single teacher on campus goes home on Friday night and falls asleep by 7 o'clock. It's a busy week. We had the pleasure last year of partnering with the Bloom and Grow Monarch Preservation Project to create a monarch butterfly garden, actually 2 locations on campus. This partnership was to support a solution to help with the pollination problem that's happening because of the rate of construction that's happening in this area, and probably around the world for that matter. So activities included, we purchased both through purchasing as well as PTO funding and give back, purchased milkweed in which was delivered. And so the activities included painting the gardening fence with decorations to make it feel homey and exciting, prepping the grounds for the milkweed, making sure that everything was good to go, planting, weeding. And then we have been so fortunate that we've been able to actually see the life cycle of a butterfly several times throughout the year. So it really did work. So it's exciting. So the one particular garden in the back got a little bit overgrown and it needed to be, probably needs to be start over with the milkweed, but we're in it to win it. We liked it. It was very exciting.
Those caterpillars can chew a plant down in
Yes.
New York minute.
Another exciting thing that we started a few years was partnering with Central Florida Junior Achievement in having a Junior Achievement Day. And so this particular organization brings in a slew of volunteers that come in and present to the various grade levels about financial literacy. And so activities are all about money, and it relates to how families in the community, and it is just an outstanding collaboration and a great way for students to get to understand, hopefully understand the value of money and how it works, and that it doesn't grow on the butterfly garden,
Dude, up there.
Last year was our first Rock Your School event, and this was, it's a Get Your Teach On initiative, which is really just this whole organization that's really about, you know, making learning fun. It's out of the box, hands-on activities. So our theme was space theme. And so parents, this is just it's an example of how our parents supported all of our needs. They allowed us to transform the 2 science labs in the 5th grade classroom, completely dark, all glow in the dark, all of the different activities to talk about the space theme. So we learned about gravity and glow in the dark balloons, glow in the dark constellations with glow sticks, space theme, enrichments in special class. Parents even bought a spacesuit for the teachers to wear, you know, for the day. So it was great. Our 2, we call them our rock stars, Miss Carino and Miss Sykes were the individuals that were in the science labs, and we brought the various grade levels in there to have this glow in the dark, fun Rock Your School event. So it was awesome. Last year, actually, I think that we actually started this 2 years ago, but last year we continued on with the National Elementary Honor Society, and we inducted approximately 84th and 4th grade and 5th grade students during the 21-22 school year. And so this particular initiative is about building community and having them engage in service projects. But it's not, some of the projects that they worked on last year were engaging obviously in helping with the garden, the beautification, maintenancing and harvesting of we actually have some tower gardens as well that they were harvesting with Miss Kiefer. Miss Kiefer will harvest a variety of herbs and try to talk kids into putting them on their macaroni and cheese all day long, you know. So she's out there. She is very passionate about that healthy. She would be a great Southview person for healthy living. We had a sunflower fundraiser to benefit the impacts in Ukraine that we sold sunflowers. OACS Reading Buddies, they did those. Toy drive, they assisted with the toy drive for the police station. Drive in November as well. So those were just some of the projects that the NEHS. You can see we have a lot that goes on at the school. Yeah, so we were fortunate through the using of ESSER funds, which is elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds that offered a variety of no-cost learning clinics to students throughout the year. We targeted specific students that had specific needs and invited them to various learning clinics in which that they were at no cost, and we, you know, compensated the teacher for their time and their effort. And so during the year, we were able to provide, we had some from January on, and then we also had some in the summer, and some of the academic learning camps were reading and writing, math and science. We actually, I think, hopefully you all remember this, but every child at our school learns cursive from kindergarten on, and actually we begin the process of learning about the strokes in VPK this year. So handwriting, which was an enrichment camp.
And excuse me, if you don't know, in regular elementary school,
They don't teach it.
3rd grade is when they start cursive now.
Oh, 3rd.
They do start.
I didn't even think they taught it anymore.
They put a more emphasis on it. It had stopped for a while. It was a very, very hidden standard that was middle of nowhere, and there's been a sort of a revival to do.
But they don't go to 3rd grade. That's the point. Is starting in kindergarten is phenomenal.
And I was somewhere where there were, you know, younger people, and they couldn't tell time.
Oh, gosh.
They couldn't tell time on a clock.
With analogs right now.
Yep,
I promise you, we still teach.
I know.
It's just that it's not. It's just
They don't use it.
They're not.
They don't use it.
Available as much. Everything's digital. So yes.
It's just like,
Jersey.
are you kidding me? You can't read a clock?
One of the other learning clinics that we partnered with Florida Virtual School over the summer, and we offered computer science courses at no cost to our students. So I believe that we ended up having about 40 to 50 students that enrolled in that process. And so we contracted with Florida Virtual School to offer that enrichment over the summer. So I'm very excited to be able to do that. Of course, with every school year, there we go. we need to, you know, collect data to see how our students are doing. And as I noted earlier, our whole school method to collecting data had been iReady, which was a blended learning program. And so I just wanted to give you a percentage of how our students performed in what they call annual typical growth. They determine what that stands for. So the percentage of students that reached annual typical growth in reading was 60% of our students, and in math, 63% of our students. What I noted at the bottom is that on our school improvement plan, we have noted that we want to reach 68%. That is based on working towards an A, and iReady had a direct correlation to the results for 3rd through 5th grade in regards to the FSA that is now gone away. So we may need to recalibrate and take a look. It's hard to roll back the 68%. We've had 68% for a number of years for our goal, even though it has been something that we've really had to work for because we've seen the impacts of, you know, school closure and learning loss. But pretty proud to say that when you're talking about growth, this is not about skill understanding. This is about growing. This is about that every child has the ability to there be at one point, and we can demonstrate that they've gotten a year's worth of growth to say that we have over 60%, 60 or over of our students that are making that is very something to be very proud of, I feel. In regards to our school grade, I believe that I shared something in one of the recent meetings, but just for an overview. So there are 7 components to which that we are rated. They are based on a point system. It's based on if you had 100%, you'd get 100 points. So each one, so the categories are ELA, which is the English language arts. Then you have learning gains, which is only our 4th and 5th graders. You have math, you have learning gains. Again, only our 4th and 5th graders can demonstrate learning gains because 3rd grade was the first year they take it. ELA for our lowest performing students, sometimes known as the lowest expectancy, lowest quartile. They rate us on those. Those are our students who are typically identified as having learning disabilities and are really struggling students, both in ELA and math, and then our science scores for 5th grade only, which, by the way, that is the only thing that will remain in any of the high stakes testing this year, the science test. But if you look across the board, you know, we aim for 65% across the board, except for learning gains, 50%. We did not hit that mark for our lowest quartile. It is really not surprising, especially when you're talking about our 4th and 5th grades. Our 4th graders are our students that have been impacted from 2nd grade on, you know, for COVID. And so we're going to see that. And when you're struggling, you have learning disabilities, it's going to take some time to do that. But our science score, as I believe that I've shared, we received many kudos from the district in regards to our performance. 74% of our students are proficient in science in our 5th grade. And the thing that's really interesting and very telling about what we're doing, and we're doing well for science, is that in compared to where we perform for ELA, it's higher. So that really just shows you, because there is so much of a component to reading comprehension in science, that there is a high level of explicit instruction in science that's happening to be able to perform at that level. So we're pretty proud of it. And we got a B, sorry. So over the summer, campus was a madhouse. We had many improvements going on. There was so much going on. It was a bit overwhelming in regards to, but exciting at the same time. We needed to get on the campus, our overhangs. I call them that. I don't know if you eaves. Is that what other people call them? I'm calling them overhangs. So those needed to be painted. They were all chipping and falling away, needed some work. We had the HVAC infrastructure work done. We power washed the sidewalks, painted some classrooms, and trimmed the trees. There were like 38 trees, campus that you trimmed. So those are just some of the things besides the everyday cleaning that happened on campus. I've presented you with just a few snapshots. This is the HVAC. This is what it looked like when the place was tore apart. We had plastic everywhere. They were getting up, putting the infrastructure up in the ceilings throughout the campus. this is, if you can see it, the painting over to the left, you can see it chipping. You can just see the amount of paint and supplies that are in the other picture. This is the end result. Here are some finished pictures. So the A frame in the front of the school, painted and beautiful. So just as a little note, in case you're noticing, it has a hint of blue. We had heard that, you know, the hint blue colors for porches. There's two components to it. It supposedly keeps the bad juju away, but also supposedly keeps the wasps away. So we thought we would give it a try.
Never heard about WAP.
Yeah, so it's not working, but it looks. Well, so
Hey,
You got some colorblind ones.
And you got some-
They thought it would be this guy or what have you, but. So maybe there'll be less of them. I'm keeping an eye. I'm very fascinated.
well, maybe you're gonna have some good juju.
Yes, I think so too. So you can see some of the duct work that's in some of the classrooms that's happening there. So there was a lot that was done.
How old is the school now?
19.
19.
19.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, 19. So I just listed some of the HVAC phase 1 accomplishments, you know, so they put in the controls. They basically in building A, C, and D, they did ductwork, electrical installation. They did some pipe insulation and for the electric and some mini splits for the electrical room. They put in for building B, which is the cafeteria. Put in a mini split for the dry food storage area, and they put underground pipe and conduit was installed. So that's just a very brief picture of what was done, and really about as detailed as I probably really want to get, because I know more about HVAC than I ever want in my entire life. So I'd be happy to dig back in my memory bank of all the things from the HVAC process if you need me to, but that's a general problem. Our lottery results. We did our lottery from VPK to 5th grade. I do want to tell you that we made a shift last year and it was approved that we shifted so that we had equal for our siblings, because we were facing a difficulty with new people, new Oakland residents getting priority over those that have multiple siblings, with the potential of losing our families that have been here for multiple years. So we made an adjustment to our lottery. So we had 417 applicants, 57 were siblings, 53 were Oakland residents. At the time of the lottery, we enrolled 87, leaving 330 students on the wait list. There are a lot of people that want us.
Good.
Yes. I mentioned the Orton Gillingham model school, which I passed out to you. This is something that's very exciting to us. The Reed Foundation, charitable foundation, provided the funding to support our teachers in getting this very important and critical strategy to teach students. It is aimed at supporting students with dyslexia, but it is really good best practice for any student. So during the year, we were able to train 40 staff as a classroom educator and 8 staff at the next level, associate level. I am one of those 8 staff that has gone to the associate level training. We began the implementation of the OG principles for K2 starting in January, and we have formed a curriculum committee to align the OG principles with lessons and standards to make sure we have the necessary scope and sequence in order through which that we can instruct our little kiddos. Our hiring needs, we had 9 open teaching positions. We have 5 funded, grant funded teacher aide positions. They are 2-year grant funded. We had 1 behavior tech support aide, which we changed from a teacher position because we had an ESE teacher position. We felt like we needed this role more. We have seen an increase of students that are facing on the spectrum, autism spectrum. So we've needed that additional behavior training support. We've made several internal moves, and 1 teacher is going to be retiring after we completed on board full-time teacher, which is coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And so we'll move that teacher to a part-time role and onboard a full-time teacher that's acting as a long-term sub. Overall, as I shared all this information, we really, it wasn't an easy year. It was easier than the two before, I will tell you that, but it was definitely a great year, and we're very fortunate to be able to have a staff and individuals that are willing to go above and beyond to continue to work to do the best for our Eagles. And I just wanted to share on behalf of the staff and myself that I continue to be appreciative of your support and of the school.
Thank you
very much. Any questions?
Just comments.
Okay.
You guys knocked it out of that simple. The paper speaks for itself. If we hadn't had COVID, you guys have knocked it out of the park. So piling that on top of it, all the stuff that was accomplished, it does nothing but make, and I can probably speak for all of us here, makes us just proud as we could be. I think somehow over the next probably several weeks after this, we need to maybe figure out how to get your staff together and as either a commission, or whether it's just me or whether it's me and you, or however we do it, get in front of your staff so we can, offer thanks for everything that they've done, because it wasn't easy. Trust me, it wasn't easy, and you guys, you did it. That is a school to be proud of. I would put our school up against any in this country at this point with what you guys have accomplished here. So I agree. Let's think about how we do that, because I think one of the components that we really need to figure out is that connection between the town and the school, and have that staff understand how much we really do appreciate, what they do for these kids.
And food always helps.
Yeah.
People like food for appreciation.
So let's talk about and how to plan something, in not the too far future, so that we can, get in front of them and show that.
I'd be happy about that.
Very nice.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was long, but it's been a long time coming. So,
well,
yeah.
And you acted like a teacher. You handed these to him, and him is like, pass these out. Neither one of them said what, they just did it. So.
I got a curious question. Do you have any stats on how many students came from the Oakland Avenue apartments? If we have,
I can look into it. I don't know it.
Oh.
I can get that for you though.
We do have some though.
Yes. We actually had quite a few that were calling to, after the lottery had been passed. You know what I mean? So that was some of the issues that we had already had the lotto. You enter into the lotto in February, and people started moving in after the fact.
You don't understand it. Or...
Yes, yeah. So, but they're told. A lot of people who move here are told by realtors and everything else, and that's your school. And so that's great, but also they're like, what do you mean? They get confused by the idea of it. They have to do a lottery in regards to it. So, yeah.
And the other group, that's an interesting, I'd like to see that myself.
That would be interesting.
The other group we probably, as a commission, somehow need to get in front of is PTO, because we have come such full circle with PTO. We've talked about it several times here on what a job they do. Again, I will hold them up to any PTO anywhere across this country to give us $60,000 plus in a year. It's just it's unheard of.
Yeah.
So the appreciations need to go out, to them too, because those folks work. Really hard.
That's the worst thing you can do is forget someone.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would love for us to be able to tell. I don't know which things you would put on a top 5, 10 list. I mean, all this stuff was amazing. So I don't know how you would do it, but I would love for us to be able to tell a story.
Be able to call it down to an elevator speech.
Yeah, I mean, because this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
share outside.
That would be great. I can barely remember an elevator speech, let alone all of this.
So when you're
I'm
thinking
sorry.
about this, something along the lines of just something that's a promotional to put out there, like a tell a story with like something that Alicia would do, or like
Information.
road, like what do you know?
When we do tours of the town, or we have people come to learn about what we do here, and we invite lots of people to come, and when they do, they're like blown away by the complexity of what we do. And this would be part of that.
Okay.
We could include it in there, and then we have it. If somebody says, so how's your charter school doing? And I could say, well, you know, we did this, and this year, and this has been ongoing. And less than 2 minutes, you've said, hit the highlights.
Right.
But in addition to that, the community in this.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, that's great.
Was
And Alicia could do some kind of community
Right.
around that.
Times, Christiansburg.
Yeah.
Say, so all this, there are how many,
I would say
municipalities?
Last number that I had, there were like 8,
municipalities in the state of.
yeah, 18 schools, right? But that most of
In the state of Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, but did Belle Isle, did they have 2?
yeah, I thought that Belle Isle had the whole system, like, so they had an elementary,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
So I'm sorry.
And then there was, what's this, starts with a P.
Pembroke.
Pembroke Pines.
Neola,
Pines, yeah, they're the
So
one.
it's only 2 now? I thought it was more than that at one time.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah, so my statistic, it's been 16 schools in the state of Florida.
Right.
I think they've all been in those 2 or 3.
Right.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they own, like Pembroke Pines has multiple schools.
Right.
Yeah.
They actually at one point,
No, I can talk.
Pembroke Pines had all of them except for Oakland Avenue, which was us. So
Right.
that's it too.
but it would be great if Alicia had something she could send out, you know, put it on Facebook.
Send it to the Florida League of Cities.
That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah, send it to
Yeah.
them.
I mean, there's a million ways you
Right.
can create it.
National League of Cities, you know,
Mhm.
tell a story, you know?
Yeah.
We need, you know, as a friend of mine said, you know, we got a cook of our own pond. So we just, tell our story, tell your story.
Okay.
You know, you got to put a brag book together and let people know. It's
Short.
being arrogant. It's being, not being arrogant.
Formative.
Yeah, you're not being arrogant. You know, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
People need to see what's being done, and how you doing it, with the collaboration.
I'm sure people would be like, wow, can you sit with me? And
This is a great story.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
okay, public forum. I don't think I see anybody. So we'll move on to consent agenda. Before we do the motion, I would like to point out that in the consent agenda is a long list of people who are celebrating or have celebrated milestone service anniversaries. So we're catching up to where you'll only be seeing 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. But right now we see
Right.
long, different years to catch them up to their milestones. So definitely a shout out to all those folks. Lots of teachers on that list. So
No, I didn't see Carlos there.
There's not been any.
Oh, okay.
so what was that? I'm sorry, there's not been what? There's all kinds of them list. Yeah.
It's all employee anniversaries, it's not just milestones.
Yeah, it's all, yeah, there's a lot of people on the list from this
These are anniversaries for the month of August.
Oh,
month of August. But it's a long list and there are definitely, because I saw Muffet on there. And Noreen is making sure that people are getting the plaques to give out to the students. So I just wanted to point that out. It's part of the consent agenda. Okay. All right, I need a motion, or I need to know if there's any questions we want to pull out of the material.
I'll make the motion to accept consent.
Okay,
second it.
it's moved and seconded. Any questions, any comment? All in favor? Aye. I can't believe it. We are the town manager report.
I'll keep it short. I just got a couple things. First thing, our next meeting is on Monday,
Yes.
September 12th at 6:30. It'll be the budget public hearing. So I just want to remind everybody about that. I didn't get to put it in the manager's report, but I will be off on Monday. I've got some family business to take care of. Coffee with the manager will be Thursday, September 8th at the Healthy West Orange Arts and Heritage Center, town of Oakland. Anybody who's out will get to get a preview of a sneak peek of the upcoming Hispanic Heritage. They're naming it La Florida, celebrating Florida's Hispanic Heritage Art and History exhibition at the center. The town of Oakland is celebrating over 500 years of Hispanic heritage in Florida by featuring the work of more than a dozen local artists. The official opening reception for the exhibition will be held on Thursday, September 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. and it's free and open to the public. So if you come to Coffee with the Manager, you can get a little preview.
That's nice.
And they've been fairly well attended lately. So
who was supposed to be your presenter that didn't was unable to?
It was with Bike Walk Central Florida. We had was supposed to come and talk.
That's Foot Forward.
Yeah, that's what.
Gotcha.
But she wasn't able to make it. So, but it was still good discussion.
Yeah,
pretty good.
You're growing that thing. It's people look forward to it.
Couple other things. Alicia gave me a couple updates. We are working through. So we are the Healthy West Orange Arts and Heritage Center. She's working with somebody to do some regular yoga sessions on the porch on Fridays beginning in September.
That would be nice.
So we'll have some yoga out there. And then just one other piece of information. We generally do Celebration Among the Oaks 2 weeks, the 2 Saturdays before Easter. That particular Saturday looks like it's going to be the day for Spring Fever in the Garden.
Oh, you can't compete with them.
So we are
at the overflow, maybe
proposing Saturday, March 25th to do Celebration Among the Oaks. So just long-term planning, just to put that out there. And then I'll let you talk about the mayor-manager meeting, but the Florida Turnpike sent out an update on this is the PD&E study, and it's got Ocoee kind of up in arms.
Oh yeah.
They sent out a newsletter. I just got it before the meeting, so I was just going to go ahead and hand it out. I'll forward the email to everybody. But they are supposed to have a public hearing in December, and they were supposed to do it in July, but it's been moved to December. We are watching it very close because it will impact the interchange here in Oakland when they do. And my understanding is it has become a sense of urgency for the Turnpike enterprise, so they're already trying to figure out future funding for it. And Ocoee's up in arms because there's some prime commercial property that they may use for future stormwater ponds. And so Ocoee's got a whole separate conversation going on. We are watching from staff perspective. We are watching this very closely. We have talked about, and you'll even see it on here, they mention it. We talked about enhanced bicycle and pedestrian crossings on State Road 50 as they're doing this work, incorporating that as part of it. And they have changed their mind on some of these bike paths, and they are looking to do an enhanced pedestrian path on Highway 50 that could connect to the West Orange Trail at some point. So
that would be good for us.
It would be great, but there are other unintended consequences that we also have to watch out for, including stormwater issues, and we wouldn't want them to take any of our prime
or ponds on Highway 50.
So just informational, and I'm more than happy to talk to you on the side about this this particular PD&E study, but that's all I've got.
Okay. So that's it, Mayor and Commissioner reports. So I'm going to start with Sal.
Just want to some of what I experienced going down to the FLC 100-year anniversary. I really enjoyed it, hanging out with Joseph and the rest of the people out there. And I got involved in a lot of one of the ones that got my attention is something I shared with I gave to Steve about responding to mass shootings, advice and assistance for city leaders and town leaders on what to do in case of an emergency. So he's got the information, Steve, that we don't have to get involved with that company who helps at least get information, they'll give it to you for free. So we can be ready for something that could happen. I was really happy to know that a lot of the cities I talked to, during that class, we had the Parkland High School mayor there, talking about her, and what she had to go through. And also the Pulse shooting, we had the Secretary of State for Secretary of Buddy Dyer talk to us about her challenges, and also about talking about the Uvalde Elementary School in Texas and how a lot of schools are still not hardened. I was really happy to say, that thank you, Vice Mayor, and all our commission here, that we pushed no matter what. The numbers weren't the factor, but the safety of the kids were to harden our school. They were talking about this elementary school over there, how there was 12 options for the gentleman to walk into the school. It was not hardened. I mean, if it was hardened, they would have had one choice to get in, and they had a knock, whatever. So I think this will help, at least for us to consider, sharing it and be ready for.
Yeah. And I think that between Buddy and Teresa was in office at the time, our leadership here in Orlando, Central Florida, did a marvelous job.
Right.
I mean, we went to that state of the county. I think most of us went where Teresa was still in office, and she talked about the whole Pulse shooting. And I don't know how anybody could talk like that and not break down. And she just was such a steady hand.
Correct. So
yeah, it pays to be ready, because you will, we want these kids safe. And we also don't want them on national news as a casualty.
They talked about how to deal with that, national news that come, and they try to pick our weaknesses just to get ratings. I mean, all kinds. Who's going to be the speaker of the city or town? Not everybody can or knows how to speak well.
Right.
Can you host a president? It becomes, all that stuff. Donations. Talk about everything that's, some
of those schools never reopened. They're sitting empty.
It was great. I really enjoyed it, and I'll hope to go back whenever you guys.
Well, it's great that you guys could go and get. I know you both bring back things, or whoever goes brings back things that look like they're applicable to something we might be interested in, and we. It's well worth the time and the trouble.
Yep, and it's back in Orlando next year, so they're a different hotel. They're going to be at the Hilton.
You're kidding? They're not going to be at the Dip.
No, they moving to the Bonnie Creek Hilton.
Oh, you're talking about here, not there.
Oh no, here.
They're here next year, and then the next year they're back. I just can't imagine that thing being anywhere.
Oh, no, they're not. In 24, they'll be back at the Dip.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's such an iconic place for them to hold it as.
Yeah.
It's really nice. That's it. That's all I got.
Hey, Joe.
Not much to add. As Commissioner Ramos, it was a great event. A lot of networking. My main thing is just trying to figure out how we can make things easier for us. And so I connected with a firm that helps with grant writing and monitoring, all that kind of stuff. So I know we are working for.
That's great.
New structure here. So I'm just waiting to get some information from them. This is it's called Indelible. They work with they work with Orlando and some other places. So I'm just trying to get some information on them. And once I get some information, I already shared some information with Steve, but I want to get some additional information just to see if it could benefit us. Because at the end of the day, we're so small and we're in a growing phase. We're small, but we're big, but we just can't do everything. So
no, we can't.
I'm trying to figure out a way how we can come alongside staff to help us be more efficient. Yes. Still, get ready for all this growth and all the things that's going on in our areas. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and when you look back, I mean, we elected this year not to do a state of the town, probably, hopefully next year. And when we look back at everything we've done in the last 4 or, we've all been here longer than that, but the growth that we, faced and handled incredibly well, but there's always more to do. And, we've got to make sure that we're, linear in our approach to we got through that. Now what do we do? And it's not really now what do we do? It's like hitting us in the face of what we need to do. So, but you know, there's no stopping. There's no, you know, resting on your laurels.
And FLC is glad about us along, you know, utilizing them for
Good.
healthcare, and
Oh, yeah.
they have some other services they're going to pitch to us soon too. So
They do legal representation too for some things.
I believe. I mean,
Not talking about anything about you.
So if you had an issue,
Mhm.
actually, it was funny. I'm glad it's interesting you bring that up. Last week I actually went up there because my daughter moved in her second year.
She needed money.
No, so I had worked in at FLC office, and I was kind of, I call it ear hustling. So I can hear people calling in, talking to the different lawyers and asking questions. So I know Palatka called. I was speaking to one of the lobbyists, and I can kind of hear some of the things they were talking about. So yeah, cities and towns do call them for advice. And I can hear that Palatka has some election issues, and they were just trying to get some advice. So yeah, they do that. You have to be a member, of course, not and like Winter Guard is not a member of FLC. No, they're not.
That's interesting.
Right, kind of, yeah. So you have to be a member in order to get some of that advice.
Well, I know that we had some issues early on, a long time ago, that Florida League of Cities, you know, represented us for.
Yeah.
They were, you know, individual in nature.
And they do report that. So Craig Kahn, he's like the lead lawyer. And so if there's something that's addressing, or if there's an issue that's addressing at certain cities that can be discussed or shared, and they do it in the board meeting. So they'll talk about different issues that's been going on around the state. And he would use some of the things that has happened, you know, in the court system as it relates to a city or a town or a village, as an example of how Florida League of Cities has also come in and give their testimony or their expertise to help support. So yeah, so those case studies do come up in board meetings.
And the lobbyists are always got their ear to the ground about something that's going on. You can find out from them.
And it's 24, I mean, it's 365. Like I said, I was sitting in there in the office working here. The different lobbyists, you know, they were dealing with stuff now getting ready for January.
It never ends.
Yeah, it never ends.
I don't understand why a city wouldn't want to be part of that FLC. They do so much. I mean, I've learned how much.
I have no idea.
Why would a city not want to be part of it? You get such great benefit out of it.
I would tell you on the Tri-County League area, Winter Garden, this is the only city that hasn't been involved with us in probably about 3 years, maybe a little bit longer. And we try to reach out to them and meet with them. And I know Mike Bohofer was kind of.
I was going to say, maybe, you know, with the new sheriff in town.
We tried.
Oh, you did?
I'm not sure if we tried this current year, but I know in 21, we definitely tried several times. Several different board members will go to their meetings and meet with them and ask them to be a part of it.
Well, I tell you what, we had a string of meetings, you know, within the last 2 weeks, and Winter Garden was there for all of it. So that was unusual.
Oh, okay, see.
So that's a good sign. You know, the Chamber of Commerce meeting, Winter Garden has never attended, but they have a board member.
See,
and now they are.
That retired, that
Bob Buchanan.
Yeah, so he was like the most active one.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Oseski was active with the FLC, but since both of those have left, no one has any of those.
What's I guess he's assistant town manager, city manager over there. What's his name?
I can never remember.
Because the city manager and he used to be like co-man. You aware?
It's like you're talking about.
Yeah, because your name got used in vain at the chamber meeting.
But John was kind of the.
Yeah, but there was, what's the other guy?
He's on finance.
What's his name? Yeah, he's been there for a long time, but he is now attending the chamber meeting. So I was doing my little update and I said, you know, we have an assistant town manager, Jack Butler. And so the guy.
The next prize.
Oh, I see him a lot. But so Winter Garden started to speak, whoever this guy's name is. He's been around for a long time. And he says, so you have an assistant town manager who came from Ocoee and lives in Winter Garden, but works for you.
Uh-oh.
And I went, it's all good. We're allowed by charter.
And you said, what's your point?
I did worse than that. And, you know, I really should not, I really should rein myself in, and I'm trying. But I did worse than that.
So this would be a good time to reach out.
Yeah. You know, if I don't
City manager.
ask the question.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah,
I'll ask.
yeah, please do, because, you know, the invoices, you know, the new membership or the renewal, you know, will come the next couple
Well,
of
they're much more,
counties.
all I'm trying to say is they're much more participatory locally than they've ever have been. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yeah.
Kind of,
But who we don't see, we see Robert, but we don't see the mayor of Windermere often.
oh, Fisher.
I think he works full time. So a lot of these meetings are.
Jim O'Brien.
So anyway, but it's been nice to see Winter Garden, you know, involved.
Because Lisa came to one meeting when she first got elected some years ago, and she
Lisa Bennett, yeah.
never came back.
I don't know what their point of view is. I've
I
never
don't either.
heard. You know, I think everybody just assumed Bullhofer was, you know, not participating in anything that,
And Colin is always quiet. He's always,
yeah, Colin Sharp.
yeah, sure, he's always.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, I will rein myself in right now. And if I do see them, I will ask.
Awesome, good. Thank you so much.
First, I rode last week with Mike Parker on the 7 million different projects we got going on.
He has a full plate.
He does. So again, as I said with Pam and her crew, if you have a chance to snag Parker, you ought to really tell him thank you, because him and his crew are working their rears off.
Elise can testify. I thanked him last week.
So to get out there and ride, you know, with him to
Eye-opening.
trench and stuff, it's phenomenal when you start seeing all this stuff. It really is. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that, Ram.
That's awesome.
My thing, you guys talked about it last month while I was out, and I just myself want to keep it top of mind is the whole thing with the sunshades over the these playgrounds. I know it's a lot of money, but I also know, having kids that are on playgrounds all the time, that it's not safe for them as hot as it is. It's not effective for the kids as hot as it is, because we spend a lot of money on these playgrounds, and kids really aren't utilizing them in the middle of the afternoon after school now, especially because it's just too hot. And if we wait for trees to grow,
Yeah.
you know, we got a long ways to go. So I'm asking you to look hard into yourself to do what's right for these kids, and try to figure out how to cover these, at least these two playgrounds, Spear Park and Pollard Park. You know, the others don't have the playground stuff, but I come to a commission meeting, I come down here right before 6 o'clock, it's still boiling. I live right across the street, I see it. Kids can't go on these slides, they just can't go on them.
But I just can't, you know, it's for, you know, 2 or 3 months out of the year. It's 2 or 3 hours a day. And I just can't spend money like $80,000 on something that's going to rot away and have to be replaced again. I just can't do it.
It's not 2 or 3 months out of the year, Mayor. It's a lot more than that. And I'm gonna, if you want to look at it in dollars and cents, let one kid get a burn on there and decide they want to sue our town, and $80,000 is going to be nothing. And I've seen that happen. You might know some cases.
We probably are remiss if we don't have signs out there.
You know, so, you know, it's just the right thing to do for these kids.
I want to find the right thing to do for the kids, but spending that kind, and that's only for Spear Park. That's not even including Pollard Park.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be, so double it at that. And Pollard Park, I think, has a lot more exposure than Spear Park does.
And that one has the least space for a tree.
Right.
Right.
So then that one has
We
no hope for a tree on that one.
can look at it, and I wish there were a silver bullet,
Well,
but you know, sometimes you got to be pragmatic.
You do, but everything else that we figure out that we want, we really figure out how to get the money.
Right, that's what I said. I'd like for us to do that. But spending $80,000 on a shade structure that's gonna rot is not something that I can just get behind without exploring other opportunities.
Well, then that's what we need to look. Planting trees that are gonna grow in 4 or 5 years isn't the answer.
I think it could be part of the answer.
It can be part of the answer for down the road, correct? 'Cause again, by the time that these things do, what you say rot out, then you might have trees. So you got to kind of think along these lines, think outside the box too.
Well,
Anyway,
dollars.
you know, I'm asking that we look into, keep looking into it and not just drop
Yeah.
this because it's just.
No, and I'm totally
Yeah.
behind. Let's not drop it. Let's continue to look. There is no ready answer popping up.
No,
And $80,000 is, you could almost buy a house for, we could almost buy a house for somebody in need here in town.
Well, I was
So-
gonna say that we have to look at it from two different views and tackle it two different
Yeah, I think it's,
parts, because this part
they are different.
has more room, more trees, is more likely for us to do the tree way. But the one over in Palmer has.
There's no way to do it there.
no, I don't think you
If you
can.
put a tree,
Yeah.
there's no room, you'll probably tear up the playground. Another thing is that if the sun's beating down on them constantly 24/7, you're gonna end up ruining the park, and we're gonna purchase a park again.
Right. And if that's the case, then we need to look, and that's part of
Look at
the question.
And then
And-
look at the damage that the park we've had over the years, and that's probably part of it too.
And so I think it's not a single fix. There's steps to this and different options that maybe make one option. But anyway, we got to, I am more than willing to continue to look at this.
So
That's all I can say.
okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
So anyway, got anything else?
Well, let me think. What time is it?
I don't want to have to go tell you to sit.
You already hit me once tonight.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Frank Gilbert is the assistant city manager.
Bingo. Hey, you're right. You are absolutely right. Now, why can't I remember that name? Maybe if I see him more, I'll remember it.
Just remember.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see them participate. Anything else I won't hit you
Nope.
for?
I'm good.
So it was a busy 2 weeks, I would say, for Steve and I, in that we attended a meeting that Winter Garden called for us to discuss rent control and what that means to us should it pass on the agenda. And, we feel like it'll be preempted by the state, and we feel like, in the town of Oakland, we're not going to have any apartments that meet the criteria. They're luxury apartments. And really, when you boil it down from the presentation that we saw that I saw at the chamber, there really aren't that many apartments, period, that meet the criteria in Central Florida. So I think at this time, we're just going to watch and wait and see where it goes.
So, but I know I saw part of Mayor Deming's presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know they've been working on some things as far as putting together some dollars. I know Tallahassee's been raiding the Sadowski Fund.
Yearly.
Yeah, for years. Is anything, are we plugging in? I'm not sure. Do we play a part into what it's trying to do?
Well, this came up really quickly, the rent control piece of it. There is dollars that Orange County has set aside to mitigate rents, which Jerry is basically saying, why are we doing this if we can do that? And he thinks that mitigating rent is better. So at this point, we're watching it play out. And when it comes down to what I think is, it's going to come down to mitigating rents and a long-term strategy. Because even like Myra was on public radio the commissioner that I think kind of led the charge on this. And basically she said this is rent control is a stopgap measure for communities to be able to get in front of this problem rather than behind it. And so you put the rent control in place and then you work on the other things. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but Orange County did pass, the commission passed it to put it on the ballot.
Yeah, I know FLC is going to address it. I'm not sure which committee, but it was brought up in the committee I was in, but I'm in land use economic development. And so our committee said that's not part of our committee, it's gonna be somewhere else. So it's gonna come up.
Yeah.
Come up state, like you said, statewide.
We're monitoring it and we'll definitely, put our commissioner on advisement that we're interested in this topic, especially when it comes to mitigating rents, and we do need to stay on top of it. So that we'll get
involved with FLC down the street.
Right. I'll be interested in what you hear too. And then we had the mayor and managers luncheon, which was well attended. And we talked a lot about the Expressway Authority's plans for Ocoee and what that's going to do to their CRAs and their development, which it could be very significant. And then just kind of what we were, still looking at as far as rent control goes. So it's a hot topic, rent control.
Yeah, we talked about the sales tax for a little bit too.
Oh, sales tax too. August 31st is the state of the county by the chamber. Or
state of West Orange.
State of West Orange by the chamber.
That's you presenting, right?
Yeah, that's me presenting. So, cross your fingers. Steve and I are Steve's been really good about getting me the information I need to be able to be prepared for the questions that are going to come. Stina's, prepping everybody for it. And then, there was the chamber board meeting this week too.
Oh, okay.
So that's where your name came up. And we showed off our new logo and the work that Joe Allery done. So that was very well received. I haven't heard anybody say anything about the, that they didn't like it. So, and then the only other thing I would say, and this is really off topic, is I have enjoyed seeing the hot dog guy here, every week. And he is so nice and wants to do, he's a rule follower. We asked him for some more healthy items. He put them on his wagon, So I just love seeing him under that tree.
He's also cross-promoting the center at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the major efforts was to get people into the center and that, people would stop for a hot dog and he says, oh, you got to go see the center. So.
Very good.
Hey, see the Southeast stuff I got? I said, I ain't interested. Give me a couple of hot dogs.
Hey, those grapes, if he hasn't changed that container, those grapes are a bargain. But he's just so nice. He really is. So anyway, and I know the staff looks forward to seeing him on Wednesdays.
Was he there tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every Wednesday, right? And then sometimes on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like I saw some on Saturdays.
So that was what kept us busy for the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So are we done? Jack, you got anything? Good. Learning.
But when he starts, boy, you're going to be here late, aren't you?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
These little pieces.
Satisfied. This is a journey to keep.
Yeah, I'm interested to go see the election results.
That's kind of update to Charlie Prescott, the